In today's video, I wanted to share with you a bulletproof methodology for memorizing scales and arpeggios, and in particular learning them in a way that makes them accessible to you when you're improvising or trying to write music. So I'm going to break down the principles behind how you should be practicing this and how it should work, as well as some of the benefits you'll see along the way. So I call this practice method the Russian nesting dolls. And the reason that I call it that is like I think they're called Petrushka dolls, I don't know for sure. But like those, you go from smaller bits of notes into bigger groups of notes. And so what I would say is, let's say, for example, we are working on the major scale. When I'm improvising, if it's over, let's say, a G major chord, I'm not necessarily thinking, I'm going to play the G major scale, or I'm going to play a G major 7 arpeggio, or I'm going to play a G major arpeggio. I'm just thinking G, big broad strokes G, and I'm playing whatever comes out. It might be, which was an idea that had some major 7th arpeggio, and then some notes from the scale in thirds. I might think something pentatonic. I might think of any of these things. So when practicing this, what we're going to do is we're going to pick a small group of notes. Let's say it's a G major arpeggio. So if I were to play just a G major triad arpeggio, it would look something like this, and I'm going to go. Then I might go to a G major 7 arpeggio. That's going to look like this. I might even start out just getting those two under my fingers. So a major arpeggio and a major 7 arpeggio. A great way to practice this is to throw on a metronome, practice at whatever speed is comfortable and sustainable for you, and have it go triad, maybe twice, and then after the twice, now I'm going to do the major 7. Now the next logical step of this, that was a 4-note bit of material I was working with. The major 7 chord has 4 notes in it. Might be the pentatonic scale. So G major pentatonic, check this out, fits completely over both of those ideas as well. So if I took the pentatonic scale and added that in, then I could go triad, major 7, pentatonic. Scale shapes and arpeggio shapes will be complementary and they'll overlay. So the next step would be, let's say it's the full major scale. So that is going to look like this. So if I were to go over all 4 levels, it might look something like this. So triad, 7th arpeggio, pentatonic, major. Now, all of these principles apply as well to every position of the guitar. So if I went to what I would call position 2, if you're a cage system person, you would call this position D. All of the same things apply here. So if I went, sorry, I'll go slower than that. That was a little bit speed racer. If I go triad here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Major 7 there. Did I flub that on the way down? Let's do it again anyways. Pentatonic. Full major scale. Speeding up a little bit to get it out of the way. There we go. And then these same things exist in position 3. That was a little messy. But you can go through the whole thing. And again, the reason that this is so useful It's actually scientifically proven that when you kind of have correlations to things, when you can tie your knowledge of one thing to another thing, you'll have an easier time remembering it. Because rather than being a stray bit of information, you have little bits of it stored in different bits of your brain. And so when you do this, it's kind of like a triple threat in that it gets you to memorize things easier, it makes you aware of all of these related things, and it can show itself up in your improvising. So a really cool way to work on this is to actually fit it into something that you're actively working on. So say, for example, we were playing over, we were just trying to improvise something in the key of F. Let's say I'm up here. And a cool way to do this is actually without the pressure of chord progressions, without the pressure of that. Just pick the key of F and try to make some little music on it and see if these little bits of material come out. So let's say I'm thinking I can use anything from my triad to my major 7 to my pentatonic to my full major scale. And my goal is just to make pretty music in F. So let's say I go 1. Helps if I start on a good note. There, I was playing a whole bunch of different stuff. Some of it was derived from major 7s, some of it was notes of the scale, some of it was notes from the pentatonic scale, and some of it was notes from the triad. And so this method of practice, again, the biggest thing that it does is rather than forcing you to think super specifically or granularly about what you're trying to use, it consolidates all of the information that you might need over a certain chord or in a certain musical situation, and it lets you see how it all lays over top of it. So this is a practice method that when you're getting comfortable with your scales and arpeggios, I can't recommend enough, because while you go through it, you're ingraining all of the shapes, you're relating them to each other, so that then when you're improvising or composing, you have these kind of tools instantly at your disposal and already under your fingers, which is obviously going to make that a very, very useful and fruitful endeavor, which obviously that is going to make you a little bit more efficient in terms of calling these things from memory and figuring out what they are. Because now, rather than having 5 or 4, in this case, 4 separate pieces of information that are all kind of their own thing, you have them tied together, you can see how the framework works, you can see how they all overlay and interact with each other. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It truly helps me out more than you could know. If you're looking to take a guitar lesson with me, there's a link to get in touch with me down in the description. I'd love to work with you on whatever's troubling you on the guitar. If you're looking for a different way to support me, what I'm up to, you can check out my Patreon page down below. All of my patrons get early access to videos as well as behind the scenes sneak peeks that I don't share anywhere else, as well as just being a wonderful little community of guitar lovers, so I'd love to see you over there. Another great way to support me and what I'm up to is to check out my ebooks and my video courses linked down below. It's a great way to get some more in-depth educational content from me than I can go into in a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video. And last but not least, I have new videos coming out every Monday and every Thursday, so I hope I'll see you in the next one. And until I do, I'll wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.